anything you can imagine that you would do at a camp, you'll be able to do it at Camp Good Days.
Well, the first week that we're going to talk about, or a few days that we're going to talk about at least, is the Young Adult Retreat. That's June 18th through the 20th. Let's talk about that, Chrissy.
Yep, this is a weekend program that we started up about 4 years ago for young adults ages 18 to 39 that were dealing with some form of cancer, whether they're in early diagnosis or in remission, to give them a little respite, come down to camp and hang out with one another, get to be with each other that they're going through the same things. We found that, they kind of fell between the cracks, this age group. They weren't really fitting in with the pediatric cancer treatments and, the adults. They were right in the middle. So we tried to form a camp just for them to come down and be with each other.
After the June 18th through the 20th session for the Young Adult Retreat, we have Camp FACT. That's June 28th through July 1st.
Yep, and Camp FACT is Fostering Amazing Children Together, and this is our camp for children that are in foster care in Monroe County, ages 8 to 14, and they get to come down for a week and just hang out and take advantage of all the fun activities that Gary mentioned earlier.
Sharing and Caring, Do the Right Thing, that's July 6th through the 9th.
Sharing and Caring is our program for children that have lost an immediate family member to homicide. And we've kind of paired that up with the Do the Right Thing Award, which is an award based out of Rochester for children that are acknowledged for doing something special in the community, and they win the Do the Right Thing Award each month. And we offer them the opportunity to come down for a week and mesh with these kids that are going through a difficult time and hopefully form some really special bonds down at camp.
I bet that's a really interesting week for you down there. And is it difficult to get the word out to these young people, or have you had a good response to that?
It's difficult to get the word out. We do a lot of promoting and try to get the word out as much as possible and try to get out into the city school districts and it's always a tough time getting the word out.
Yeah. The Women's Oncology Adventure Program is going to be July 9th through the 11th this year.
Yep. We do 5 weekends for our Women's Oncology program. The first one, we actually just had this past weekend, our Arts and Crafts program. It was the first program of the summer, and it was awesome. The weather was beautiful, and we had some great women down at camp doing arts and crafts programs. Then we have the adventure program, which is kind of more of an outdoor-based program where we'll do the high ropes course, we'll get the canoes and kayaks out, go on nature hikes, and do more outdoor-based adventure programming.
How does the adventure program help women cope with cancer, do you think, Gary?
It tells them a lot about themselves because, many of the women who come prior to their diagnosis had been, moms, housewives, maybe working. They really never had a chance to do some of the things that they will experience at the adventure program. It's a lot about helping these women with their self-esteem. It's about taking that chance of something that you would have never imagined, being up 40 feet on the ropes course, or going out in a war canoe with several other women, which is always fun to watch because if they've never done it before, they're not working together, they're going around in circles and can't get any place. But it's a chance to really for them to get to know themselves, do some things that maybe they aren't used to doing, and also have a chance to do it, again, like all of our programs, with probably the only people in the world who can really understand what it's like to be them. And the support comes from being with others that even though we don't make that a part of the program officially, it happens when these women are in the cabins or when they're going from one activity to another. You'll hear them talk about when they were diagnosed, who their doctor was, did they have this particular kind of treatment. And it becomes a great support system for these women, too, because as we know, cancer is a series of peaks and valleys. And it's amazing how these women become such close friends and they support each other during those difficult times.
You might even wind up being a part of a highly acclaimed rowing team.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we started there. It was those that we do during the year, some of our things, and one of the things we wanted to do was to have a group of women with cancer to actually get to the point where they could participate in the Head of the Charles, which is the premier crew event and in the country. And a year ago, last October, we had a group of our women that was invited and actually participated in the Head of the Charles. And this past year, we did African drum and dancing with the Bushmango people in Rochester, and the women loved that. This is kind of the year of the drum, 2010, for Camp Good Days.
Now, in the middle of July, July 12th through the 16th, we have Camp Childhood USA. What's that, Chrissy?
Yep. Camp Childhood USA is for children ages 8 to 17 that have a parent or sibling that are going through treatment within the past 3 years. And it's one of our largest programs this summer so far.
Okay. And Camp Best, Brothers and Sisters Together, is July 19th through the 23rd. How does that work?
Camp Best is for children that have a parent or sibling that has passed away from cancer within the past 3 years.
And what sorts of things do you find with that particular group of kids that camp helps them?
I think the most important thing, along with a lot of our other programs, is just knowing that there are other kids that are going through the exact same thing, that, you know, that their parent was sick and maybe passed away. And, you know, it's not something that we push for them to talk about, but like Gary said, along with the women's program, that it's the kind of stuff that happens in the cabins at night where they're getting ready to go to bed and they got the flashlight on and, you know, so what happened? Why are you here? You know, just making that bond. I think that's huge, that sense of not being alone. And that's something that we pride ourselves on.
Teddy's team is July 26th through the 30th.
Yes, Teddy's team and the Doing a World of Good program is the first week is for children ages 8 to 12 that are dealing with cancer. The second week is for children ages 13 to 17 that are dealing with cancer. Any form of cancer, whether early diagnosis to remission. We have campers that come back year after year after year. Along with this, we also invite campers from around the world to come that are dealing with cancer. They bring a chaperone. This year we have 6 or 7 countries that will be inviting to camp this summer to come be with the American kids.
And Gary, just talk about how that week came to be.
Well, I think it goes back to around 1990, it might have been, 89, 90. One day I received a call from Dr. Cohn, who was the chief of pediatric hematology and oncology over at the University of Rochester, and he was asking me what I was doing, and I said, what do you want me to be doing? And he said, I'd like to bring someone over to meet you. I've been telling her all about what you're doing. So he came over to my office with this woman who was a radiation oncologist in Israel. She worked at the Hadassah Medical Center, and she was in the United States and had heard that Harvey was in Rochester because this doctor was friends of Harvey's mom who lived in Israel. And so even though she was coming to New York City, she thought New York City and Rochester were very close together. There would be just a cab ride. But when she realized that, she made arrangements to fly in so she could meet Harvey and get a chance to see the facilities at the University of Rochester. And he was telling her about our camp, and she wanted to know a lot about it. And she also wanted to know if I would like to go to Israel to meet with some of their families. And I said, I don't know if it's in my schedule right now. But I said to her, if you would like to send some children to our programs, I would be more than happy to accept them. And so then I didn't hear any more about it. And then about a good 2 months later, I get a call from a woman who is a social worker at this Hadassah Medical Center in Jerusalem. And she says, we have a group of children. They had 4 Israeli children and 2 Arab children that were being treated. And they were going to come over to camp. And so they came over. They spent 2 weeks with us. It was fantastic. And so then it dawned on me that, you know, cancer is not something that's just in the United States or Canada or North America. It's all over the world.